Welcome back, everybody, to the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise here on Madden 21. As today, season number 1 of the series has officially wrapped up, and obviously it was not a great year for our Jaguars. We only went 5-11, which was not one of the better records in the National Football League. We did have a lot of young guys show plenty of improvement, and we're going to recap the entire season, going over stats and other stuff like that today. Going to talk about the future of the organization and what to expect for the very first offseason of the series. So first things first, I do want to take a quick look at the standings around the NFL. Obviously, we finished last in our division. However, we were only 2 games behind the first place team, the Houston Texans, who went 7-9. Yes, this division was absolutely atrocious this season, so if we had just played a little bit better, especially down the stretch, who knows, we could have won this division hypothetically. Looking at the rest of the conference, I think the biggest surprise was probably the Dolphins making it in as a wild card, which is very interesting. The Patriots, Chiefs, and Ravens all won their respective divisions, and the Raiders, Dolphins, and Browns all got wild cards. In the NFC, the Bears finished with the top record in the conference. Packers and Lions both finished 8-8, and of course Green Bay gets in over the Lions because, well, same old Lions. The Saints and Cowboys also win their divisions, and the NFC West is 3 playoff teams, with the Niners getting 13 wins and the Seahawks and Rams making the postseason. Obviously, the Rams making it is not good news for us, considering we own their first-round draft pick. And then looking at the seedings, it'll be Ravens 1, Chiefs 2, deja vu from last year, Pats 3, just like last year, Texans 4, just like last year, and then Raiders, Dolphins, and Browns at 5, 6, and 7. The NFC, meanwhile, looks a lot different. Chicago and San Francisco have the top 2 seeds, Dallas 3, New Orleans 4, Seattle 5, Rams 6, and Packers 7. So a very interesting season of NFL football. Now let's take a look at some of the matchups here for this wildcard weekend. Obviously, there are 6 games instead of 4 like it's normally been due to the addition of the 7th seed. Got some really interesting matchups, especially at the NFC. Seattle, New Orleans is a great game. Rams and Dallas is interesting. Packers and Niners is a good out-of-division rivalry. And then in the AFC too, 3 interesting contests in there as well. So before we see what happened in the postseason, I do want to recap what happened specifically with our Jacksonville Jaguars this season. So starting with the quarterback play, it was a mixed bag from Gardner Minshew. And while he did show some flashes, we still do not have a definitive answer to the big question, is he a franchise quarterback? And to be specific, is he our franchise quarterback? A lot of yards, higher completion percentage, higher passer rating, but the touchdown to interception ratio is definitely worse than it was his rookie season. Looking at the run game, it was another very solid season for Leonard Fournette. 242 carries for a little bit over 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. Now, will Fournette be on this roster next year? That's the big question. I can't see Jacksonville giving him a long-term extension, but if he wants to stick around, maybe a 1 or 2 year deal could be in the works. So, very unsure on whether Leonard Fournette is with this team next year. If he is not, I don't think the lead back is on this roster currently. There is no clear second rushing option. Adrian Peterson's not going to be on the team next year. Rodney Anderson, Chris Thompson, they weren't all that special. You know who was special, though? DJ Chark led the NFL in receiving yards, 86 catches, nearly 1,500 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He had a phenomenal season and was without a doubt the best player on this roster. And other than him in the receiving game, we had rookie Laviska Shenault, who had a pretty good rookie season. David Njoku was solid, a little bit inconsistent here and there. Dede Westbrook, another player who's on a contract year, did miss some time towards the end of the season with an injury. Will he be brought back? That's a big question entering the offseason as well. The offensive line play started out really well, and then as the season went on, it got progressively worse. Juwan Taylor did not have a great second season. Ben Bartch had to play a lot due to injuries, mainly to Cam Robinson, who had a good season in my opinion, but he only played 9 games. Robinson is also an impending free agent, and I can't see Jacksonville feeling justified to give him a long-term extension because he hasn't proven to be good, except for this year where he only played half the season. Defensively, Myles Jack led the team in tackles of 124, 8 for a loss, 3.5 sacks, 2 interceptions. Another really good season for Myles Jack. Definitely excited to see more from him these next few seasons. Joe Schobert as well had a nice season. He led the team in tackles for loss. Josh Allen with 12.5 sacks. He was easily our best defender this season. And he was a little bit inconsistent at times, but especially towards the middle of the season, he was outstanding. Really started off slow, but certainly picked it up as the season went along. I thought Adenabu, who was acquired during the midseason with the Vikings, had an outstanding season with Jacksonville. 7.5 sacks in the 9 games he played with Jacksonville. He's definitely going to be back on the roster next season. And then the rookie, K'Lavon Chaisson, did not have a good rookie season, but he had 4 sacks in the final 2 games. So, despite only having 1 sack in the first 14 games, it's still very reasonable to be optimistic with Chaisson going into next season. The other first-round rookie, C.J. Henderson, also did not have a great rookie season. He allowed way too many plays in coverage, was not a phenomenal playmaker when it comes to the turnovers, only 1 interception, which was returned for a pick 6. Like Chaisson, there's still plenty of reason to be optimistic for C.J. Henderson, especially considering corner is a very hard position to adjust to in the NFL. Kicking, Josh Lambo was, He missed 14 kicks, which is a lot, but led the NFL in field goal attempts, and, the extra points were kind of inexcusable. You cannot make 87% of your extra points. That's foul. Logan Cook led the NFL in punts down inside the 20, but he also averaged the least amount of yards per punt, so that's kind of an oof. The MVP award goes to Cam Newton. Nick Foles in second, the former Jaguars, so 2 teams with new quarterbacks finish in the top 2 for MVP. That's pretty wild. Looking at the rest of the awards for the AFC, no Jaguars in the running for Offensive or Defensive Player of the Year. Laviska Shenault, 7th for Offensive Rookie of the Year in the conference. And then for Defensive Rookie of the Year, C.J. Henderson finishes in 5th. I think that's a little bit too high for him. Chaisson finishes in 9th. For Best Quarterback, no Minshew. For Best Running Back, Leonard Fournette does finish in 5th, so that's cool. For Best Wide Receiver, DJ Chark gets snubbed. Instead, it goes to divisional rival Zach Pascal. Nobody in the Best Offensive Line, that's fair. For Best Defensive Lineman, Josh Allen finishes in 4th. Very good to see. For Best Linebacker, I'm a little bit disappointed. There's no Myles Jack. I think he deserves to be in the top 10. Nobody for defensive backs, obviously, and then no Lambo once again. Not a huge surprise. So here's a look at the NFC. Nigel Bradham won Defensive Player of the Year. Outside of Bradham and Nick Foles, it doesn't seem like there's really any surprises here for the NFC awards. I guess Clinton Dix as well. So now on to deciding what's going to happen with the staff. That includes General Manager Dave Caldwell and Head Coach Doug Marrone. Well, in a press release today, the Jacksonville Jaguars have announced that both of them are being fired. I will quote what the organization said, as the Jacksonville Jaguars have terminated the contracts of head coach Doug Marrone and general manager Dave Caldwell effective immediately. The organization would like to thank both men for their dedication to our team and wish them well on any future endeavors. The team will now begin their search for a new head coach and general manager. So the Doug Marrone / Dave Caldwell era in Jacksonville is no more. Back to the drawing board to determine a new head coach and GM. So the GM has been announced, and it is ESPN analyst Louis Riddick. Very interesting choice. I don't think everybody's going to love this pick. However, Riddick has been involved with the NFL for nearly 3 decades. He was a player for 7 years. He's been a draft analyst and commentator for ESPN for a very long time now. And Jacksonville believes he's qualified enough to be a general manager. This is fairly similar to the Mike Mayock hire made by the Raiders a few years ago. The Raiders had a lot of draft capital at that point. They wanted to hire a guy who was considered a draft guru, and Jacksonville is doing the same. The Jaguars have more picks than anybody in next year's draft. 2 first-rounders, a bazillion fourth-round picks, and a lot of potential holes to be filled. So I think that's the main reason why they hired Riddick. In a corresponding press release, the team stated, the Jacksonville Jaguars are proud and excited to announce the hiring of general manager Louis Riddick. After an extensive search, the organization believes he can help lead a new era of Jaguars football. Riddick has stated that his first goal will be to find the right head coach for his team. So as you can tell, Jacksonville did not hire a head coach with Riddick. I think the main reason being that they are letting Riddick choose the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, which you will all find out in the next episode. So taking a look at the wild card round, here are all the results. Houston beats Vegas. The Patriots smother the Dolphins. Chiefs have no problem with Cleveland. Saints beat the Seahawks. Rams beat Dallas. And the Packers slide past the 49ers. So looking at the divisional round, Rams rematch the Saints. Patriots rematch the Chiefs. Those are the conference championships from 2018. Packers and Bears, divisional clash. And then Texans, Ravens, Watson versus Lamar. So 4 really good games in my opinion. The Ravens barely beat the Texans. The Packers upset Chicago. New England defeats the Chiefs. So that means we'll have a new champion this year. And the New Orleans Saints get revenge on the Los Angeles Rams. So looking at the conference championships, Green Bay and New Orleans, that's a very good game. I guess since I very much dislike the Packers, that means go Saints. And in the AFC, New England and Baltimore. Before we see who will be playing in the Super Bowl, it's time to look at the Pro Bowl rosters. Jacksonville had 2 Pro Bowlers. You can probably guess who they are. DJ Chark and Josh Allen. Not really surprised with that. I figured those 2 would probably be the only ones who get in. Maybe you can make an argument for Myles Jack, but outside of that, I don't think there was anybody else on this team who really deserved it. So, nothing to really complain about there. And as you can see, Super Bowl 55 will be between the New England Patriots and the Green Bay Packers. I would really have to root for New England in this game. That hurts. That hurts. Anyway, also in the Super Bowl week, we get to find the development trade upgrades. We have 2 on our team. The first one is linebacker Quincy Williams. He's moving up to star. And the second one is the other outside linebacker, Myles Jack, who now has superstar development. In Madden 21, for whatever reason, outside linebackers go up in dev so easily. Like, Quincy Williams had a fine season, but he didn't earn going up in dev trait. Oh well, it's not like I'm going to complain about it. Anyway, the Super Bowl result, thankfully, sees the Patriots defeating the Packers 28-21. So New England wins their 7th Super Bowl champion. No Tom Brady, no problem, as Cam Newton officially gets a Super Bowl ring. So now if the Patriots have more Super Bowl championships than anybody in the history of the NFL, I can't imagine Steelers fans are too happy with this. Neither pass game really got going. The leading receiver was the rookie tight end out of UCLA, Devin Asiasi, who only had 48 yards. So nobody had over 50 receiving yards, which is pretty wild. It looks like this game was pretty much dominated by defense and running the football. I know Aaron Jones had a great game for the Packers. John Simon with 2 sacks, Devin McCourty with an interception. Knowing Madden, McCourty probably won Super Bowl MVP because if you get an interception in the Super Bowl in this game, that guarantees you win Super Bowl MVP. I don't know why. So here's a look at the retirements. The big one is obviously Drew Brees, but there are plenty of other big ones. Phillip Rivers is retiring, so the Colts are going to need a new quarterback. Frank Gore, Adam Vinatieri are both hanging up the cleats. Adrian Peterson from our team retiring. Jason Peters retiring. That's 6 Hall of Famers right there. And I think you could even make an argument for Terrell Suggs. Yeah, I think Suggs is probably a clear Hall of Famer. I don't even think there's an argument. I think it's kind of obvious. So, 7 potential Hall of Famers retiring, including AP from our team. Looking at regression, considering our team is young, we didn't get hit super hard. Really, none of our main or important starters are there, so that's good. And entering the offseason, we have some big re-signings to make, including, do we want to bring back Leonard Fournette, Dede Westbrook, and Cam Robinson? I think those are the big 3. I think Trey Herndon as well is a very interesting question. So you will all find that out in the next episode. Next episode will be free agency. We will also cover re-signings, the new head coach, and mock drafts. Yes, there will be mock drafts in this series. The following episode will be the NFL draft, and then after that, Season 2 of the Jaguars franchise will kick off. I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Make sure to like button and subscribe if you're new. The offseason's coming. I hope you're excited because I know I am. And Season 2, I'm sure, is going to be fun. Peace out.